For years after birth, the child remains largely helpless and utterly dependent on its parents for survival. During this time it can hardly do anything for itself at all, except for one thing. It can learn language. The acquisition of language is arguably the most astonishing and wonderful feat we accomplish in our entire life, and we do it at an age when we can hardly do anything else. Moreover, it is the one thing that children do better than adults. Any physically normal child will learn perfectly the language surrounding it, whereas hardly any adults can perform the same feat. How do children do this? How do they acquire their first language? Until not so many years ago, many people were inclined to try to explain language acquisition in terms of imitation and reinforcement. In this view, the child simply tries to imitate what the grown-ups are saying. If it produces a good imitation, it perhaps gets rewarded with praise and smiles. If it produces a poor imitation, it gets discouraged by frowns or corrections. Consequently, the imitations of adult speech become steadily better, until they are finally no different from it, and the child has learned the language. One of the most profound achievements of language studies in recent years has been the demonstration that this imitation and reinforcement model is totally and hopelessly wrong. Not only do children not learn language in this way, they couldn't possibly learn it in such a way. It would be literally impossible. We now know a good deal about how children actually do learn language, and it turns out that the way they do it is far more fascinating than simple-minded imitation hypotheses would suggest.